Perfect, guys. So let's start with the session. This course is purely dedicated for Docker and Kubernetes content. We will be learning each and everything from the scratch to the advanced level, right? Who should attend this course? Basically, you know, beginners who want to make their career in DevOps path, basically, and people who is already into DevOps, participating in deployment, participating creating cloud environments, cloud engineers, cloud architects. This course will be more detailed thing with Docker and Kubernetes, and there's a mix up of CKA and CKAD. This is certified Kubernetes administrator and certified Kubernetes application developer, right? So this is the thing, and a bit about me. Let me introduce you myself. My name is Anish Ansari. I'm having 10 plus years of experience. From last few years, I'm into this training things. I already trained approximately 1,000 people, even in corporate companies, by visiting their premises or online, right? Now, guys, prerequisite for this course, you should have basic knowledge of Linux, how to create files, how to install applications, how to do troubleshooting in Linux OS, right? And basics of any cloud, AWS, Azure, or GCP, right? VM creation, at least VM creation, how to enable ports over there, right? These things are required. YAML thing is also required. You should know how to write YAML files because we will be creating Kubernetes deployment by writing YAML, right? All the Kubernetes object. If you know how to set up VirtualBox and all, this will be really helpful to create offline lab. That's perfect now. I hope no disturbance. So guys, these are the basic things are required. You should already know, right? If you don't know about basics of Linux, you don't know how to create VMs in cloud. Basically, we will be using AWS cloud, right? We'll be using AWS to create our cluster and all. You no need to worry about it. While doing it with me, you can learn in the session, correct? Now, we'll be talking about course content, right? What all course content we have. Let me, go through with the latest content. This is the old one. So here I'm having all the latest content on this words, MS Word. So guys, we will be starting very first of all from the Docker. You know, we will be learning about what exactly Docker is, what all components we have in Docker, and installation of Docker on Ubuntu or any Linux based operating system. How to install Docker, right? That we will be covering here. And architecture of Docker, difference between virtual machine and container. What exactly differences are there in between VMs and containers? Why containers are so popular these days, right? Few basic commands of Docker that, checking the version, installation part, few basic commands like container creation, listing the container, removing them, right? That we will be talking about. When it comes to architecture, again, we will be having Docker daemon, Docker client, Docker registry, Docker object, images, containers, networking, services. These are the major highlights. And UFS architecture, we will be looking into it. What exactly UFS is, right? Underlying technology for Docker, right? Like C group is there, namespace is there, right? Those things we'll be exploring. Sorry. After that, we'll be learning about images and container management. Here we will be learning what type of registries we have, like hub.docker.com. And if we want to store our images on GitHub, how we can do that. right? That part is also covered here, right? How to pull images, push images to container registry, account creation, free account creation will be doing there, right? Sample application deployment. When it comes to Docker networking, we will be learning what type of network we have in Docker: host, bridge, null, overlay, right? What exactly this is the thing that we will be diving into this. How to do container to container communication, how to install front end back end application inside our V, right? That we will be learning using Docker. How to store data, what type of volume solutions are available in Docker, that we'll be learning about it. Type of volume mount, basically bind mount, volumes, tempfs, which is the best for our usage, how to choose which one to select for our application. That part will be discussed. Backup and restore images, right? You can convert your running container to image, and image to a file, and file to back in its image format, and then create container again from that image, right? How to do all these things, right? That we will be learning. When it comes to building Docker images, custom Docker images, how to write a Docker file, what all parameters or what all arguments or options, commands we have, that we will be exploring in detail, right? And as I said, that few things about container registry, GitHub and hub.docker.com, and this is what I just discussed already. So skipping that one. Docker Compose, what exactly Docker Compose is, when to use, what is the use of Docker Compose. This is gonna help you to um, create multiple container at once, right? By defining all the configuration in YAML format in a file, and then execute that file. In result, it will be creating multiple container at once, right? This is one thing, guys. Kubernetes. We'll be starting Kubernetes. All about Docker and Kubernetes. Everything will be implemented practically. Most of the thing that we will be doing will be practical implementation. Theory will be there, but I will not be showing output kind of slides. If you execute this command, then what output you will get on slide. I will not be doing. It's a theoretical way. What I will do is I will be executing commands on VMs or in containers in clusters with you, right? Now here we will be learning about Kubernetes now. Kubernetes will be started, and then we will be learning its architecture, what exactly it is, how it look like, and what all components we have to install Kubernetes. And we will be having all those things, all the components like kube api server, controller manager, scheduler, cni, cri, dns, core dns, etcd, kubelet, kubeproxy. What all component we'll be having on master node, and what all things we'll be having on worker node. Those things will be discussed in detail. We will be creating Kubernetes cluster on AWS, where we will be having one master node and two worker nodes. Small cluster will be creating, because we don't have any enterprise level of application. We are not working on the project, so as if now, right? So for learning purposes, we'll be creating cluster. That cluster will be very similar to your work environment that you will be seeing in your project, in your office, in your workplace. And whatever things are required to perform your day-to-day activity in your workplace, in your job, similar kind of examples we will be implementing in our session, right? In Kubernetes, there are many type of, we can say that multiple variants of Kubernetes is available in market, right? You might be hearing to the people that they are keep talking like AKS, EKS, right? GKE. So you should not be confused for those terms and things that you'll have to go and learn those things again. It is not like that. Let me show you. AWS is having its cloud Kubernetes called Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS. Azure. Azure is having, AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service. GCP, Google is having GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. One more we are having, OpenShift. So guys, what all components of Kubernetes objects that we will be discussing in our training session, those will be working on, you know, all type of these Kubernetes variants, including OpenShift I'm talking about. If you create deployment, config map, secret, pods, and ingress and anything, this will be same in all these places. The difference that you will be finding to implement RBAC, okay? Implementation of RBAC, because it is based on the cloud. If you see in AWS, they are referring it IAM, right? To create users, to maintain users. Their services, they're called IAM, right? Identity Access Management. In Azure, you will be having Active Directory. Cluster will be different because each cloud will be having similar services but different names, different, their console will be looking like there, that part. And the difference that you will be seeing, cluster creation, major, cluster creation will be different, right? And what else will be different? These two major differences that you will be seeing in each of these cloud Kubernetes, okay, including OpenShift again. So rest of the thing will be as it is that we are going to discuss, right? Now, guys, in this course, the advantage that you will be getting is it is a mix up of CKA and CKAT. These two certifications content I mixed up and I created this course. Might be 5 to 10% here and there because of their recent updates, their recent releases. Rest of the thing will be as it is. That I don't think so. 5 to 10% will be a big challenge for you to cover, or you need somebody else. No, I will be guiding you how to prepare for certificate. I will be guiding you, free resources. I'll be giving you like free labs. I will be giving you. If you are thinking that I don't want to spend any money on cloud environment, because once we are creating VMs on AWS, right, it will be charging you. They will be charging you. I'm having free labs for you. I can give access, right? Free things is free. Sometime it is working, sometime it is not. Most of the time that I've seen is 99% resources will be available for you, right? Now, let's discuss a few more things. Even, okay, here I was talking about certifications, so I'll show you what all certificates we have, right? So majorly CNCF people are responsible to manage, its releases and the training contents. So we are having some type of Kubernetes certificate, CKA. Let me open it in another tab. CKAD. CKS is certified Kubernetes security specialist. Is a bit more advanced that I think it's not required to discuss in this session. If you are having plan to go for CKS, then 100% this course gonna help you that we are going through, right? Why it will be? Because before attempting CKS, they will ask you to show your CKA. Active certificate of CKS should be in your bucket while attending this exam, right? So now let's discuss about CKD. CKD is something like, guys, it is for application developers. If I'm referring it application developer, certified Kubernetes application developer. So it doesn't mean that you guys will be going and developing the application. It is suitable for developer or system administrator, for both of them. Why? Because if your job is required to create deployments and to manage deployment. More you are more your job is more focused on your application deployment, application maintenance, observability, right? That side. Then this is going to help you. If you want to see the domains that will be covered in specific CKAD, that will be application design and build. Means you will be keep doing, image builds, application containerization. You'll be doing lots of image build testing, that part, right? Application deployment in Kubernetes cluster, application observability and maintenance, application environment configuration, security, and service networking. It is all about your application, right? Now, when we seeing CKAD, Certified Kubernetes Application Developer, here this course is more and more focused on, not this is CKAD right here. I clicked on wrongly on CKAD. Yeah, this is on CKA, Kubernetes application, sorry, Kubernetes, Certified Kubernetes Administrator. So let's go here and see. You will be doing lots of POC by creating cluster, testing them, installation, troubleshooting, lots of troubleshooting. See, 30% troubleshooting. Play with the volumes. Expand the volume, delete them, create the list of PVCs, services, networking implementation, workload scheduling. These things will be like, majorly people who is cloud architect or working on cloud side gonna help you in their day-to-day activities, right? So whoever is like, cloud architect and working more your cloud admin side, this will help you. So choose the certificate based on your requirement. I mixed up the content of both of the certificate in one single course. You no need to go for single CKA and CKA. It's a mix up. Okay. So let's go back to the slide here again, not slide, this one, right? We were here. So after that, guys, this was the architecture that I told you that we will be looking into it, what exactly it is. We discussed what type of cloud Kubernetes is available, specialty of this course, that mix up of CK, CKD. Now let's look into what all things we will be implementing. We will be creating a Kubernetes cluster using kubeadm. Kind is also there, to create test Kubernetes environment. We are having multiple solutions available. We are having Minikube, we are having Kind, we are having so many, it's better we will be going for kubeadm setup, which look like on premises Kubernetes cluster, you know where you will be having access of each and everything. Like you will have to install a CRI, container runtime interface, CNI, container network interface. You will be responsible to installation and configuration and upgradation and patch management. You will be learning more and more things on kubeadm, detailed thing about Kubernetes with kubeadm cluster. In interview, they will be focusing or keep asking things on kubeadm on premises cluster. If you are going for a job which required mainly for AKS or GK, any cloud variant, so their focus will be on the cloud. At the time, you should be expert on your cloud, that whatever your cloud is, AWS or GCP or Azure, whatever, right? Here we will be creating one master node and two worker nodes, where we will be implementing all of our examples. Right now we will be learning what exactly pod is: a pod with single container, a pod with multiple container, how both pods will be communicating while being, both container will be communicating while being inside the same pod, how communication will happen. Container to container communication in Kubernetes, pod to pod communication in Kubernetes, how we can access it outside, that thing will be covered during this during this examples implementation actually. Simple application will be deploying, and like, the same thing that I discussed, front end back end will be there. Deep database based application will be deploying. What exactly static pod is, how to allocate, not allocate actually, how to limit on resource accessibility for your container that we will be running at here. Like my container, which is running inside a pod, should only access this amount of memory or this amount of CPU that we will be defining. We will be learning about it, playing with the resources, how to replicate your containers, your pods to achieve highly availability. That will be covered here. To do this, we are having few of the object like a replication controller. We are having a replica set to do the same. Replication controller, replica set, and finally we'll be having deployment. Replication controller and replica set, these are the older ways to achieve highly availability. Latestly, we are having deployment, which comes up with more feature and functionality, which will allow you to perform a rolling updates. It will be allowing you to perform a rollbacks on the system, right? How to do rollback, manual auto scaling of your pods. It supports so many things that we will be exploring. And what else we'll be learning? Yes, another object to create the pods in all of the nodes. Daemon set will be there. Cluster inside cluster. Inside your Kubernetes cluster, if you want to create MySQL database related cluster or Vault cluster, so that's the reason I'm saying cluster inside cluster. Don't refer it like Kubernetes cluster will have again Kubernetes cluster. No, I'm talking about different application cluster, DB cluster, Vault cluster, and so on. We are having many that you can create with the help of a stateful set. What exactly stateful set is, how to achieve highly availability, how it is different with the deployment, and what all situations will have to choose deployment or stateful set. It is very advanced one, and manually we can scale up, scale down stateful set. Stateful set comes up with a solution of volume called volume claim template. That also we'll be discussing in detail. What type of volume we have in Kubernetes, that will be discussed here. Like empty directory, host path, and for persistent volume we are having volume provisioning method like static volume provisioning and dynamic volume provisioning. What are storage class, what is this PVC, that we will be talking in detail about these things, right? When you want to access your application outside of the cluster, or you want to enable pod to pod communication, then services comes into the picture. We will be having different type of services: cluster IP, node port, load balancer, external service, right? So what these are, when to use which one, that will be diving in this. To manage your secrets and configurations in Kubernetes, if you want to keep your data encrypted inside Kubernetes, then obviously secrets is the way that you can secure your secrets, password, certificates, and tokens by keeping in one place called secret, right? Config map will help you to keep your data in one centralized place and call those configuration in multiple deployments in form of environment variables or in form of files. How config map will help us to avoid build images again and again based on the environment where we want to pass different type of configuration in form of files. So secret and configuration will be learning in form of environment variable as well as files, that will be learning here, right? So what else? Ingress controller. If you want to access your application based on domain names like abc.com, visualpath.in, or something, unused.com, right? How we can make our application accessible with domain names? Then we'll be learning, we'll be implementing ingress controller. We are having many type of ingress controller. Few of them I can name: HA proxy. We are having HTO. We are having nginx ingress controller, port rock. There are many things actually. Also we will be talking about nginx ingress controller because it is mostly in use uh, uh, by most of the project actually. So that's the reason ingress controller, Nginx ingress controller will be implementing, right? By creating a virtual domain and workload scheduling things and health checks. How to check health of your um, how to check health of your containers by implementing readiness and liveness, that we will be doing. Scheduling, it's a dedicated, I think, 2 day session. Two sessions are required to implement these things. What type of scheduling mechanism we have to schedule our pod in specific node or based on node label to achieve pod affinity, node affinity, taint and toleration, see, which is not mentioned here. Taint and toleration will 100% will be there in the course. And finally, we will be implementing RBAC, okay, role-based control access, where we will be providing access to our team members based on their roles, basically. What exactly a role is, role binding is, cluster role binding. What's the difference between them? What exactly service accounts are? How to access or how to allow access to users by using certificates, right? That we will be implementing here. Now, apart from all these things, we will be looking into Helm chart. We will be Helmifying, YAML files. We'll be learning from the scratch how to Helmify, how to create Helm chart, how to package it, how to store it on the repository, how to perform rolling update, rollbacks, installation of your application using Helm chart. That will be there in detail. Um, and after that, Argo CD and Prometheus Grafana, ELK stack, installation of these things on Kubernetes cluster and access your resources by them. That we will be doing introduction of those things, right? So yes, Kubernetes is in more detail. Helm chart will be in detail, and Argo CD and Prometheus Grafana and ELK just installation and introduction part will be there. Nothing else. So that's it for this discussion of course content. If you guys are having any question queries regarding this, please ask me. Yeah. Yes. Anybody is having any question queries regarding this content? Yes, guys. Any question queries regarding this? Kiran, Sep, Pratap, Sumit, Mr. Kumar, Krish, Somesh, and Sobas. Yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
Anis, one
Yeah, so,
question.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, one by one will. Yeah, Pratap, you start first.
Yeah, one question. So this session will be in which on which platform, like AWS, Azure, or GCP? Which one?
AWS by creating VMs will be implementing.
Okay, so in that case, we need to have the account also, right? For that.
Yes, you should have AWS account with you. You can create a free tier account, but obviously, bill will be there. Previous sessions that I'm taking, my students are saying that they got 500 rupees bill or 600 rupees. It's not more than that, based on what type of VMs you are creating. T2 medium we will be creating, and how long you are keep running them. Based on that, they are charging. I will be giving you free resources, okay, free lab, free Kubernetes cluster. You're not required to pay really to them. What you can do is few things like cluster creation, that if you want to do on cloud, that you can do that, or RBAC implementation. Increase few of the topics you can do on cloud. The rest of them you can do on the free labs. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, Anish. So one question I had, like, you said we need to have a one AWS account and one virtual machine. So instead of using virtual
Not.
machine, if I
Yeah, yeah.
use my own personal machine, like maybe laptop or desktop, that
Right.
should be good.
That is
Or I
also good. That is
find,
also the good thing. That is also the
yeah.
good idea. You can install VirtualBox. I'll guide you even in that one. I'll
Okay.
show
Okay.
you here. You can install
Okay.
VirtualBox like this.
Uh-huh.
See on my screen. You can
Yeah.
create three VMs. See, I'm having three VMs with me here. We can
Uh-huh.
make one master and two worker. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, this is what we can do setup on our locals. But this
Okay. Okay.
local setup required at least 16 GB of RAM on your laptop. First thing. Second thing, you should have four logical CPUs to be available, where you will
Okay.
be assigning two CPUs to master node and one CPU to each of the worker node. Means overall laptop with good configuration. If you have, then you don't need to go for any free labs or somehow cloud or somewhere.
Yeah. So I was just checking my right now I'm using my own personal desktop. So I was checking that I'm having Intel Core i5 6400T CPU at the rate something 2.2 or 20 gigahertz. So that
See,
should be
this
something.
thing is important.
Uh,
Uh, just go here in performance, select the CPU,
uh,
and see how many cores you are having and logical processors. I'm having 8 cores, 16 logical processors.
okay.
This is a gaming laptop, which is like with good configuration, where I'm having
Oh,
32 GB RAM.
okay. Okay. So as per your criteria, what should be the core we should be having if you are using your own desktop or laptop? In that case, the core should be how
Uh,
much minimum?
yes, if you are having like at least 4 cores are required.
Four cores. Okay, I can see your it is in your case it is eight cores. Okay,
Yes, I'm
okay,
talking about minimum thing, minimum four.
minimum. Okay, it can be maximum, but to have that optimum proper minimum proper performance, you should
Yes,
be having. Okay,
yes.
okay. I just checked the same thing in the task manager. So I am having four cores. Like
Okay.
in my logical processors, four cores are four. So I believe this should be good, right? In
Yeah, yeah,
that
this
case,
should be good. Hmm.
okay. But only concern my
Actually,
thing is that my desktop again has only 8 GB. I don't have a 16 GB RAM.
it will trouble you.
It will create a problem. Okay, because you are saying at least we should have how much VMs, three or four from the Oracle Virtual Manager box.
Yes. So, if you see the configuration of these VMs,
Mhm.
I allocated them lots of resources. See, 2.7 GB RAM, and I allocated two processors to each of my VM. Six cores is already six logical cores are already consumed by these VMs. Only the thing is that once you are running them, then only these resources will be in use. If you are not running, those will be on your host machine itself.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me give a try. If it works, that's fine. Otherwise, then I don't have any choice. I have to go to the this what do you call
Which what to say?
OS.
OS version you are using?
I'm
Ubuntu,
using
sorry, Windows.
my
Which one?
Windows.
Home or professional or which one? Windows
Windows.
professional or home? Which one?
No, I've just checked in Windows specification. It is Windows 10 Home Single Language, Home Edition.
Home edition. Is it full version or licensed one or how it is?
It is licensed because I had taken this. I had taken a Dell desktop for my personal use, so
if you
everything
would
came
have if you would
licensed.
have if you would
Hmm.
have this one called professional, Windows professional,
Uh,
then one service you will be having called oh, I'm missing the name. That will be allowing you to run Ubuntu inside Windows. Okay, this like this way. I'm missing its name. Yeah, WSL. Okay, WSL. Windows something Linux. If this WSL is available only for professional versions actually. So
hmm.
if you are having accessibility of this WSL, what you can do is it will be giving you Ubuntu inside Windows. There you can install Docker, and there you can install Kind, and Kind will allow you to create clusters, Kubernetes
One
clusters.
one was Docker, and second I missed the name. What is that?
Kind,
Kind.
Kind, Kind.
KIND. What is that?
Kind will be helping. It's kind of Minikube.
Acha Minikube.
Kind Kubernetes cluster installation. You can just Google it here. Kind KDS.
Uh huh.
Or even, I think if you want to go for this one, Minikube, then Docker Desktop, install Docker Desktop, and then Minikube, it will be working. Few things will be there that I'll prepare documentation for that, and I can give it to you if you want
Uh
to
huh.
install like Minikube, so you can go for Minikube as well. Minikube will allow you to run on Windows with less
Yeah.
resources. Less
Okay.
resources. Yeah, that
Okay.
will help.
Because Docker desktop I have already installed on my desktop, so it is working fine. Only I have to
Yes.
try with the Minikube thing. Okay. So you're
Yes,
saying if
Minikube.
Minikube works, then it should be like I it should be this,
Most
right?
of the things you can implement then. If you are getting
Okay.
Minikube, most of the things you can do that. Ingress will not work, and I think volume provisioner will not work, and like few things will not work, and most of the thing will work on your local machine. You can test it. You can execute the commands over it.
Okay. And secondly, with the Microsoft app, like I have installed Ubuntu 2.20.04.6 LTS version,
Is it
and
accessible?
yeah, it is accessible. I can share my screen if you want.
Okay,
Uh,
you can share it.
I mean, just for your information. So I don't know whether it will. So if that is the case, then I don't think then the problem is solved, right?
Yeah, then kind you can install, or Minikube also you can install on that particular thing.
I can share my
Uh,
screen.
yeah, you can.
So okay, so I'm sharing my screen. So if I go here, you can see here. Are you able to see
Ubuntu
my screen?
LTS. Yes, yes, yes. Click on that.
Ubuntu. Yeah, because that with the Microsoft App Manager was it's loading. For a long time I have not used it, but yeah, it is. It was workable. I remember.
Okay, if it is working, that's fine. Initially, it works, and after some time, like my Ubuntu was also working initially.
No, but it is last. I think 1 week before I
Yeah, it
used.
is working. See, it is working.
Yeah,
It is
it
accessible.
is working. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
you
can.
can install Docker in it. You can install Docker inside this one, and as well as kind. So you don't need to go for this
Okay,
virtual box or
okay. So
desktop
that
application.
that will solve my problem, right? Okay.
Yeah, that will solve the problem. Yeah.
One is Docker or Docker, and one is the kind.
I'll
Okay.
guide you. I'll guide you. I'll guide you on that part.
No,
I'll
no
guide
worries.
you.
Okay, so this is workable solution, right? Option we have.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. Thanks. Okay.
What about others, guys? What about others? Anybody else? Any question queries regarding that? No? No, any question queries regarding course content? For your kind information, all of you are here for learn the things, right? We will be learning things right from the scratch. This is not the interview. This is not your office training or something where people can say you don't know this and that. Like, we are here to learn things from the scratch. So my suggestion for all of you: be interactive, keep asking me question, and whatever things that I'm implementing in training session, that same thing you should repeat by your own. Don't go for some tutorial from YouTube or some courses or some free content. Don't go for those, because we are starting the session. We'll be going through a flow where basic to advanced, one by one things will be covered. Just the requirement for me is do the implementation of the things on day to day. Because if you are thinking that I'll do tomorrow, okay, I'm skipping today's session, I'll attend tomorrow, and I will be like doing I'm busy in office work, I'm busy in my personal things, I'm with friends and families visiting here and there. What happens is day by day we will be keep executing the session will never be gonna stop, and you will be keep making things pending, and the day you will be finding it out I don't know the basics, and you'll have to start from the beginning after course completion. I don't want to see you on the page that where you started. First thing. Now the second thing that I want to add here is, I know that out of session. So I think you forgot one thing that I mentioned very clearly while executing this session. We are having multiple cloud Kubernetes available with us. You are correct. You are saying that many companies. We cannot say that no companies are using Kubernetes. This is a wrong concept. Companies from banking and finance domain and telecoms, they are having 100% on-premises Kubernetes with them, right? Even if you're talking about if you're saying this one, so every company is using all the cloud Kubernetes, they are not using on-premises, then just Google it. AWS, EKS, everywhere, anywhere, whatever it is. Okay, so these people is also providing services for on-premises Kubernetes clusters. See, create and operate Kubernetes cluster on your own infrastructure. Correct. So explore things more. That is the reason I said, like, in every interview, based on your job role, right? But whenever you are going for interview, if you are going for EKS, then you should have master in AWS. Then only they will ask you EKS. Azure AKS. If you are going for AKS, you should have master on Azure. That's the reason I mentioned here in very first slide. This targeted audience for this course is cloud administrator, cloud engineer, cloud architect, DevOps engineer, beginners, right? So based on the job role, so whatever component or whatever objects to deploy your application in Kubernetes that we will be working or learning here in the session, those will be same for any of the cloud. Deployment will be as it is. Secrets, config map, daemon set, stateful set, RBAC, right? Role binding, Helm charts. These things will be as it is wherever you go. These are the cloud agnostic things. But if you want, that's the reason again I said that if most of the people are agreeing for EKS, then we'll be starting separate or new batch for plant batch for specific cloud-based Kubernetes. Got it? Yeah. So this course gonna definitely help you in your day-to-day activity in your workplace and all, and it will 100% making you use. Yes. If you're really interested about cloud Kubernetes, I can give you free documentation. Just tell me which cloud Kubernetes you want to learn. What can I tell you? What can I tell you is, free documentations are available on internet for this AWS documentation part. There you can learn these things. As I said, these things will be different. See, RBAC, cluster creation, cluster maintenance. Obviously, while you know Kubernetes each and everything, so you will have to go and create users, bind your role binding to particular user, that you can do that. Cluster creation, just whenever we are talking about this cloud Kubernetes, cluster creation is easy. Click, next, choose the option. This many nodes I need, this type of configuration I need. That's all, your cluster will be ready. This we can do that. Why to go for any institution and pay money for additionally for training? That we can do that, right? These two things only you have to learn: RBAC, cluster creation, cluster maintenance, and these days again, if you want to create complication for yourself, I'm not afraiding you. What happens is Terraform is something there. People are creating their infrastructure by using Terraform. Then again, you'll have to learn Terraform. Where you started with Docker Kubernetes, and it is never ending process. So be with Docker and Kubernetes, be expert in this, then go for cloud Kubernetes and Terraform and something else. So yes, guys.
Okay, okay.
Ergo CD. Now listen. Ergo CD, ELK, and Prometheus Grafana. These are the introduction. Just how to install it with few Helm charts and access it. That's all. Nothing much. That's all for the day, and we will be starting session very soon. My team will be updating you. Keep in touch with them.
Thank you.
So that's all for the day.